Hi everyone, Zari here. So one of the questions that you might ask yourself as you progress through the game is, do I want life on my gear or do I want damage reduction? So for example, let's say I had a breastplate here and you went to the Oculus to reroll a stat and you ended up having to choose between 1000 HP and 10% to all damage reduction. And you want to know which one should you pick. So to understand that, what we need to know is a concept that deals with a way to represent just how tanky your character is using one number. So what is that one number? Well, it turns out that that one number isn't on your stat sheet. It's not in the game, and you just have to calculate it yourself. So to understand that, what we're going to do is look at an example. So let's say that we have a Wraith here that hits for 100 damage, and let's say that there are two characters. One character that has 100 health with 75% damage reduction, and then you have another character that has 400 health with 0% damage reduction. And the question is, which character is going to survive more hits from the Wraith? So take a second to think about it and pause if you'd like. Otherwise, we are going to go over it right now. So first, let's figure out how many hits can this first character, the rogue here, take. So if he has 75% total DR, we'll take off 75% of 100. So we reduce the damage by 75, which leaves us with taking 25 damage per hit. So 25 damage per hit. Okay. So how many hits would it take to kill us? Well, 25 goes into 100 4 times. So we could take 4 hits to kill. Now, how about the other character here, the source here, I think. So we've got a source here that has 400 health and 0% DR. So every hit then is going to do all 100 damage per hit. So 100 goes into 400 HP, 4 hits. So it take 4 hits to kill. Okay. So what was the point of this? So the point is that both of these characters are essentially equivalent in their survivability. These characters are equal to each other. So what that means is that by having 100 HP and 75% DR, what we effectively have is a character that has 400 effective health. So you may have heard of this concept called effective health in other action RPGs if you've played it. And what effective health is it's just a way to take into account your damage reduction and your health at the same time in one number. So 100 HP with 75% DR is effectively the same as having 400 health. And another way to think about that is that we can take 100 damage hit from the Wraith 4 times, which is effectively taking 400 damage. Now, there is a formula that we can use to calculate effective health. So what is that formula? Here it is. So effective health is equal to the following. What we do is we take our max health, or life, and we divide it by 1 divided by our total damage reduction percentage. Okay. And in the previous video, we talked about how to get that total damage reduction percentage. And that would give you your effective health. So for example, in this case, we could do it as a quick example. Our max health is 100. And then we divide that by 1 divided by our total damage reduction, which is 75% or 0.75, which is then equal to 100 divided by 0.25, which is equal to 400 effective health. So the 1 minus 0.75 gives us how much damage that we're taking. divided by, and then we divide that into our max health, giving us an effective health of 400. Okay. Now, how does this help us? Well, if I wanted to decide between 1,000 HP and 10% DR, what I can do is basically calculate the effective health of our character with both and see which one increases more. Now, the only problem with that is that that requires you to know what your total damage reduction percentage is, and that can be kind of a pain to calculate. So there's actually an easier way to figure out the change in effective health. So for DR, if we want to know what's our change in effective health, okay, then we can say our change in effective health. So change, this is the triangle delta symbol, Greek symbol delta, just meaning change in EH effective health for DR would be equal to the following. We take 1 divided by simply 1 minus the new DR stat. So our new DR percentage. Okay. So for example, if I wanted to know how much my effective health would change by adding 10% DR, then my change in effective health would be equal to the following here. We would take 1 divided by 1 minus our new DR percent of 10%, which is 0.1. So this would be equal to 1 divided by 0.9, which then is equal to 1 divided by 0.9 gives us 1.11. Okay. So what this means is that we get a multiplier of 1.11. So this is times 1.11 for our effective health. So whatever your effective health was before, you'd multiply it by 1.11, and that would be your new effective health. Or in other words, you get an 11% increase. Okay. Now, how do we figure out the change in effective health for 1,000 HP? So there's a way to figure that out. So our change in HP, percentage-wise, so be equal to our new total HP divided by our old total HP. So in this case, for example, we would take our new total HP. Well, to figure out our new total HP, we have to know what our current HP is. So let's say, for example, let's say our current HP is, let's say, 6,000. So our new total HP would be 6,000 plus 1,000. So 6,000 plus 1,000 divided by our old total HP, or our current, I guess, total HP would be another way of saying that. So 6,000, which would then be equal to 7,000 divided by 6,000, which then would be equal to 1.16. So by adding 1,000 health, we would increase by 16%. So we'd get an increase in 16% effective health. So which would be better? Well, 11% or 16%? Well, 16% is more, so adding 1,000 health in this case would be better. Okay. Now, the thing is that this percent depends on our current health. Okay. While adding a certain DR damage reduction stack does not change depending on anything else. Doesn't depend on what our current DR is or anything else. Right? It just depends on just that. So this number is always going to be the same, right? The 11% increase. But we can see what happens if instead of having a current HP of 6,000, what if instead we had a current HP of 10,000? Then our change in effective health would be equal to our current HP of 10,000 plus the change in our HP being 1,000 divided by our current health of 10,000, which would give us 11,000 divided by 10,000, which would give us 1.1, which is equal to 10% increase. So now the 10% DR would be better because we get 11% increase with the 10% DR, while now we only get a 10% increase with the adding 1,000 life. So as we increase in our life into the late game, the life becomes less effective. Early on in the game, so like when you're like level 60 and whatnot, and you don't have that much health, so maybe you only have like 6,000, 5,000 health, adding those extra life stacks can help a lot. But as you get into the end game, when your health is like 12,000 HP already, then adding DR oftentimes is more effective than continuing to add more life. So, did you learn something? I hope so. And next time, we're going to be talking about how armor works. So feel free to hit the follow, subscribe button to get those notifications. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.